Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we'll be discussing Arsenal's new fixtures for 2022. 2023, they are absolutely out, and they are really compact. In the first month, that is August, they're absolute. How many games are there? 5 games. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Gabriel Jesus agents in London, and they hope to get a total agreement between Arsenal and Manchester City in the next couple of hours. So make sure you keep tuned in to the podcast and also on all your social media platforms. If that drops, I'll be the first person to let you know. Total agreement with the player. Of course, that is very confirmed. Raphinha, talks ongoing with Arsenal, Leeds, and now the player. 3 parties now involved, and it looks like Arsenal are trying to get him as a priority signing. For Christ's sake, we are looking at a new season, and it is high time Arsenal started acting very quickly. Lastly, we'll talk about Christopher Nkunku, who has been confirmed that he will be staying at RB Leipzig in the German Bundesliga. Now, no one is going to be paying that much. 100 million. Arsenal won't be paying that much, and it looks like the man will be staying down there in the German Bundesliga. I'll talk about Vitinha as well. There is still a war between Manchester United and Arsenal. Either Porto are using Arsenal to get Man United pay the release clause, or there is real interest in Vitinha. All that and more to be discussed in this episode of the podcast. Please do subscribe to the channel. We're very close to 41,000 subscribers. We have 400 subscribers, actually 300 subscribers away from 41,000. So please do that for us, and also hit the like button. We are very close to getting 400 likes per video. So let's get this video to 500 likes. And of course, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and let us know where we can improve the content, how much, and what are the aspects where you need changes. Much appreciated. I will really value your opinions. But for now, let's get the party started. Now, let's start off with Crystal Palace today. Arsenal will be taking on Crystal Palace at the Selhurst Park in their opening game of the campaign. Absolute ridiculous. Of course, today, the opening day Premier League fixtures have been released. Crystal Palace at the Selhurst Park take on Arsenal. Leicester City take on Brentford. Newcastle will take on Nottingham Forest. Tottenham Hotspur take on Southampton. Man United will be hosting Brighton. West Ham going to Manchester City, or actually Manchester City going to West Ham. And of course, Bournemouth will be home entertaining Aston Villa. Everton, Chelsea, Fulham, Liverpool, and Leeds United will be taking on Wolves at home. So that is those are the new fixtures. Look, I do not want to react to them right now. Watch me on Cossy Talks Football as we discuss all those fixtures. What's going to happen in the new campaign? What's going to happen in the new on the opening day? I will discuss everything there. But of course, Arsenal's fixture list for the whole season has also been released, guys. And in August, how many games are those? Those are 5 games starting on the 5th of August till the 30th of August. Those are 5 games in there. That's a lot of football. Crystal Palace away from home. Leicester City at home. Away from home again to Bournemouth. And of course, 2 games at home, ending the month at Fulham and Aston Villa. And then in September, we'll take on Manchester United. We'll take on Everton as well, and Brentford. October, you have Tottenham Hotspur, you have Liverpool, you have Leeds, you have Manchester City, and Southampton. December, of course, we do have a couple of fixtures in November. December, you only have West Ham and Brighton due to the World Cup. So I mean, the fixtures are a little bit compact. They're a little bit, very, I think, close, because you have the World Cup in November, December. In that period, players are going to be needing some time to rest. Players will need some time to rest to give us a quality tournament in December. And that's why I say, people, the FA, FIFA, UEFA, they are all absolute bullshit. They do not care about players. They do not care about the amount of minutes players are playing. They only care about how much money can they make. They're absolute pricks. But of course, that guys there is your new season fixtures. Like I said, August, Crystal Palace, Leicester, AFC Bournemouth, Fulham, and Aston Villa. That is to begin with, because my full reaction is coming up on these teams and where I think how we will do next campaign. It will depend on transfers. Now, talking about the new season and talking about transfers and improvement, today it has been confirmed that the agents of Gabriel Jesus are in London. They flew to Manchester yesterday. They are in London with his family, trying to negotiate a deal between Arsenal and Manchester City to close it on the coming hours. Of course, it looks like the problem is Arsenal in this deal. For me, it is not the agents, it's not the camp of the player, it is not the player, it is not Manchester City. Arsenal are the huge problem in this deal. I do not know if we are trying to get Manchester City to reduce the price down further, which would be absolutely ridiculous in my case, because we've talked about this, we've gone over this over and over and over again. It is 60 million euros to 50 million euros to 45 million euros. Get that done. Just get just get it out of the way. So the agents of the player are now in the UK trying to negotiate a deal. They want to close it as soon as possible. Erling Haaland's number should be announced very, very soon, and it cannot be announced if Gabriel Jesus leaves the squad and actually moves on. So that is the latest around that. Of course, we do have a total agreement with the agents. There is nothing changing between the camp of the player and Arsenal Football Club. We just need to find that agreement between us and Manchester City. Reports are that in the last few hours, talks have been absolutely positive. Arsenal are hoping that one will actually get done. So we hope and we pray that one actually gets off the line as soon and quickly as possible. Now, talks are also progressing very well between Arsenal, Leeds, and Raphinha. And the most important aspect here is that in the first week, that is last week, when it was reported that Arsenal were genuinely interested in the player, there were no official talks. There was no official contact between Arsenal and Leeds United, and there were also no official talks between Arsenal and the player. This week, it has been confirmed that Arsenal have taken their official approach to the players' camp, and they have also taken their official approach to Leeds United. Leeds United have told us it's always going to be 55 million euros, around 47 million pounds. If you do not have that money, do not even think about coming here. And of course, if as you come, you must come with a bag full of money. It is going to be paid up front. So talks are ongoing between the representatives of Arsenal, Leeds United, and Raphinha. There is hope that this one is going to get done. Liverpool did bid for this one yesterday. It was actually turned down. The player doesn't want to go to Liverpool. I think he's looking at game time and he's thinking, if I go to Liverpool, they have Luis Diaz, they have Salah, they have Roberto Firmino, Jota, and now Darwin Núñez. Where the hell am I going to play in that 11? There is no way I'm going to be a starter and an important player at Liverpool. So at Arsenal, of course, that is absolutely guaranteed. We are waiting to see if Arsenal can progress in this one. Interest is genuine, absolutely confirmed by Charles Watts and of course Fabrizio Romano in there. Can we get this one done over the line? Not a very easy one. It's going to be very, very tough. Leeds United, they either need to soften on the price or soften on the structure of paying. But if they do not, then Arsenal is going to find a very hard time to get this deal done. Moving on to the other stories is around Christopher Nkunku, and just like I told you, Rudy Galletti today in the morning, he's just confirmed that this guy, it might be staying in the German Bundesliga. A couple of clubs are interested in him, including Arsenal and PSG. Actually, according to the Evening Standard, Arsenal and PSG yesterday were willing to pay the 100 million euros asking price for the player, and that is when I said, no, I'm not going to be a part of this. I'm not going to be reporting that Arsenal are willing to pay 100 million euros for a 26-year-old Christopher Nkunku. He's had an amazing season for RB Leipzig. He's been very, very phenomenal. 26 goals in his campaign, and I think around 13 assists. That is around what, 40, very close to 30, is it 35, 39 goal contributions in the last campaign for RB Leipzig. He's been absolute stylish. But of course, 100 million euros. There is no way Arsenal are going to be paying that unless it's PSG that are actually going to take the player. If PSG take the player, then I think 100 million euros can be paid. But is he worth 100 million euros because he has had one good season? In my opinion, no. 50, 60, 70 million euros, I hear you. But 80 and above for Christopher Nkunku, wait a minute. Let's go and get Raphinha, who is a little bit cheaper, Premier League proven, and has also scored 12 goals, and 3 assists for Leeds United, confirming that they will be staying up. That would actually work for us. So Christopher Nkunku, what are your thoughts? Rudy Galletti just confirmed that there are no offers actually from PSG and Arsenal. No offers for the player, and it is not even going to happen anytime soon. RB Leipzig will try to tie him down to a long-term contract. That could be up to, I don't know, 2026, 2027. Arsenal, not one of the clubs that are going to be signing him this summer. That one is off the table. Moving on to the last story of this morning. Vitinha, Arsenal and Manchester United, like I reported yesterday, are in a transfer race for Portuguese midfielder playing at FC Porto. The name is Vitinha, plays as a defensive midfielder, plays as a central defensive midfielder in that area. I think, look, I don't know what Arsenal are trying to do, if there is genuine interest in Vitinha at all, because I've not got this from any of the relevant sources, which has actually led me to believe that maybe FC Porto are trying to use Arsenal as a clickbait to make Manchester United and to force Manchester United into triggering the release clause of the player. Now, one of their CEOs, one of their officials yesterday came out and confirmed. I think it was the club president. He said, yes, there is an offer on the table for Vitinha, and it's a very, very interesting one. However, we have actually turned the offer down. We need a club. We need a club that's going to trigger the release clause of the player, and that is the only way that Vitinha is going to be leaving FC Porto for any other club this season. So that is it, lads, for me today in the morning. We've reported about everything Arsenal. New fixtures are out, and it is absolutely very, very compact. Crystal Palace is the first game away at the Sellers Park. Arsenal need to prepare as soon as possible. By this month, we should be able to bring in at least our 2 priority signings. So by August 5th, they have already settled in the squad, and preseason is over. I do not want to see Arsenal play preseason, Arsenal sign players, and at the same time, Arsenal trying to get into the new season. That is going to be absolutely unacceptable. The agents of Gabriel Jesus are in London to discuss a deal between Arsenal and Manchester City. Everything agreed on the player side. Arsenal have agreed to pay the player the salary he wants, close to 190,000 per week. We are the only club that are offering that, and that's why we are already leading that race by miles and miles and miles. But we have not agreed a deal with Manchester City, and that is what is holding the deal back. And finally, of course, we talked about Raphinha, talks ongoing between Leeds United, Arsenal, and the player. We expect that could also break anytime soon. Now that the fixtures have been released, Arsenal have no reason to keep on waiting and waiting. We are 1 month and 20 days away from getting into the Premier League. And of course, Christopher Nkunku's 100 million euro deal to Arsenal has been ruled out by Rudy Galletti, who says the player will be staying at in the German Bundesliga at RB Leipzig. Vitinha, there is interest, but if there is no release clause triggered, then as confirmed by the officials at FC Porto, there will not be any moves for the Portuguese midfielder. My name is Cossy. Hit the like button for me, subscribe to the podcast, and Cossy will be back.